I hate to say it, but we're going to have to be doing biometric scanning and blood testing, saliva submitting to be licensed as anything these days, because what in the actual world is going on here? Subscribe. Okay, nurses are back at it again with the fake news, aka fake nursing licenses. Like, what? There has been another nurse that was discovered to have a fake license and had been taking care of patients for years. I don't know how this keeps happening, but let's get into it.
Police in Florida arresting a woman accused of posing as a registered nurse, allegedly treating more than 4,400 patients without a license. Tonight, hear the police video of her arrest showing she was still wearing medical scrubs and what she said as they arrested her. Victor Akendo from Florida Tonight.
Tonight, a North Florida woman is under arrest.
Can you step out of the car for me, please?
Accused of posing as a licensed nurse and providing care to thousands of unsuspecting patients without a valid nursing license.
Am I being arrested?
You are.
That woman, 29-year-old Bardisa, taken into custody Tuesday. Body camera video showing her still wearing medical scrubs. Authorities claim Bardisa used a nursing license number that belonged to someone else and treated more than 4,400 patients from June 2024 to January 2025 while working as an advanced nurse technician at Advent Health Palm Coast Parkway. That position typically involves drawing blood, administering medications, and even starting IVs. Officials say during Bardisa's hiring process, she provided a license number that matched her first name, but not her last name. When the hospital asked Bardisa about the discrepancy, an affidavit says Bardisa claimed she had recently gotten married and had a new last name. When she was asked to provide a
Who does that license belong to? Wait a minute. Autumn, all the Autumns out there, stand up.
marriage certificate, Bardisa did not.
Fortunately, to our knowledge anyways, nobody was seriously hurt or injured.
The alleged ruse was discovered this January after Bardisa was offered a promotion.
Now, wait a minute. They only found out because she was offered a promotion. A promotion. They were about to promote her.
And allegedly could not verify her identity, prompting a 7-month investigation by the hospital. David Bardisa faces multiple charges, and tonight authorities say that after she was fired, she got her nursing license and was working at another facility. David?
What?
Victor Akendo. Victor, thank you.
Wait a minute. So after she was fired from this Advent Health Hospital, she got her license and was hired somewhere else. See, this is what I mean. Nursing, these organizations do not care. Like, it's so unsafe out here and it's so wild. But I'm going to rewind because we have a lot to unpack here. This organization, Advent Health, hired a nurse. So from my understanding, she came in as a different position and she kind of like worked her way up to nursing, like the nursing position. She told them, hey, I haven't passed my NCLEX. That blows my mind that she was able to get her license. I have so many questions here. That she was able to get her license because this was a 7-month investigation period. So she got fired from this place. Sounds like she got her license and then practiced in another place. This is wild. And I'm going to just say this. Not everybody can pull that off. I'm just going to leave that there. You do with that what you will. But it is wild to me that she was able to do that and still get a job somewhere else. That tells you a lot about these organizations and how they operate from a place of desperation and from a place of low standards. Because wait, let's get into some more videos because, child, I have so many questions and I need answers.
Did y'all hear about that 29-year-old that was arrested in Palm Coast, Florida for impersonating a registered nurse? Angel Bardisa was...
I also want to pause and say this. Florida has been that state. And I know that Florida already gets a bad rep generally because they have some public record laws that kind of just gives them a lot of negative attention and we just know about them more than a lot of other states. However, these are the type of things that really don't help their case because this is not the first time that A fake nurse has emerged from Florida. Like, there was a whole situation in 2023, I believe, that was so big. It was called Operation Nightingale. And it's so wild because Florida, from this very moment, Florida should have been on high alert. Florida, all the hospitals in Florida should have been, on their P's and Q's. They should have locked in on making sure that the licensing of their nurses was legit. Okay. 2023, this happened. Then it happened again in 2024. So here we are in 2025 dealing with another nurse coming out of Palm Coast, Palm Beach, Florida. That whole area, just throw the whole area away. Just throw it all away, because what is happening down there? We need the FBI. We need everybody to come and see what's going on down there. But I'll be honest with you, states really have to be careful, especially in this new age of technology and things that you can do with software, as far as like making things look like they're a part. Adobe gives you the ability to do all kinds of weird stuff, let alone AI. Okay. States really have to get serious about protecting their professionals, as well as the people that these professionals are to be serving, because this is unacceptable. And I used to hate, now there's a couple states, maybe like Illinois, California, that would make you go and do fingerprinting when it came to your license. And I used to hate that, because it was just like, this stuff is so extra. But they're onto something, because they are not trying to be dealing with problems like this. And so maybe that's something that all of these states need to look into doing. I don't know what Florida's licensure process looks like, but it's obviously not working. Okay.
Did y'all hear about that 29-year-old that was arrested in Palm Coast, Florida for impersonating a registered nurse? Angel Bardisa was hired by Advent Health Medical System as a registered nurse. This young lady was hired by this hospital in July of 2023. She not only falsified her identification, she also falsified her schooling documentation and her nursing license. So upon being hired, she told them that she had passed all of her courses needed to become a registered nurse.
Okay.
But she had not yet passed the NCLEX.
And that happens, okay? That is a legitimate part of the process. I remember my first job, I had applied for the position. I was taking my NCLEX at the time, and I told them, hey, I'm already scheduled to take my NCLEX and blah, 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 blah. And they were just so like, yes, we believe in you. We're proud of you. We want to still hire you and take you on, and we trust that you'll pass and blah, blah, blah. So I had gotten my job before I had passed my NCLEX. So that's actually legitimate. I see where that part is coming from. But child, did she snake her way in this system? And she kept slithering throughout the entire process, because what? You faked your entire school documents as well?
Hired her and placed her under the supervision of a nurse.
Right.
But at some point, she had provided them with a license number saying she had passed her test. On the license, it had her same first name, but a different last name. So there was some discrepancy with that. But she gave them a story saying that she had just been married, so that's why the last name was.
I don't even understand how she was able to get past that point, because when you tell somebody that you're married and you have to do a name change or a name reconciliation affidavit, you have to send in a form. You have to send in your marriage license. So, well, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if she fabricated that as well. But was that not caught at that moment? Because you can't just tell stories. Like, that doesn't cut it when it comes to licensure and things like that. Like, you have to provide documentation. So who was in charge of that process? They were just like, okay, girl, cool, congratulations, you got married, here's your license. What?
Different. They then asked for her marriage license.
Yeah.
But at some point, that kind of got swept under the rug too. But it wasn't until 2025 that everything started to unravel. Homegirl was up for a promotion. Yes, she worked here for 2 years as a licensed nurse and was up for a promotion. But one of her colleagues took it upon themselves to look up her license information and found that she had an expired certified nursing assistant license.
Wait. Y'all, what are y'all doing at work? Who is running their mouths at work? How are y'all treating people at work? Because why is her colleague looking up her information? What was she doing? What was she doing at work? She must have been walking around looking crazy, looking at the walls, looking around like she didn't know what she was doing, because why are her colleagues and other people looking into her licensure as if they are unsure about her situation? What is going on? First of all, people be haters. Second of all, people love to be in somebody else's business. I tell you that much. And clearly her colleague said, let me check out something. That is wild behavior. Or maybe she was running her mouth at work talking about some girl. It was easy. I got in easy. You know, just talking too much, just saying too much.
And she reported that to HR. HR then went to her and asked her, where is your marriage license that we asked you for back in 2023? She still failed to provide them with the marriage license. So then they terminated her and began an investigation on her. And after a 7-month-long investigation, they found that everything she said was a lie. But the name of the person that she was using was actually a nurse, but it was someone she had went to school with but didn't even know personally.
Oh my goodness. That is insane. How did she get that information? You know what? Bring back the fingerprints. Bring back the fingerprinting, because ain't no way you're going to be able to use my name and license number. I guess it is something that you could look up, because if employers can look it up, then people, everyday people, if you know your first and last name and kind of like where they've been licensed, that is wild. Hide your kids, hide your license number, because what? She took her nursing school colleague, but she didn't even, that girl was at the school for however long she was at the school, didn't even finish. So she was just there to scam. Like, she was just there for enough time to run a good scam, get the information she came to get, and dipped up out of there, fabricated the school documents, took her homegirl's name, licensure number, and borderline identity, and ran this whole game. I mean, this is a long game for her to play. Like, she really plotted. She really picked up a notebook and plotted this thing out. Like, took notes, drew graphs, made plans. What?
And the same person worked in the same Advent Health system, but at a different hospital.
How? I'm sorry I keep pausing this, but how did Advent Health let this slip? I mean, I do see the name, and you're saying you got married. They're not tracking. But shouldn't they see that two things are active? I don't know. And let me just throw this out. Do you guys think that it is solely the responsibility of Autumn Bardisa to be punished? Or do you think that Advent Health needs to go down in flames for this as well? What do y'all think? Who should be held responsible? Her, them, all the above? Let me know down below.
And as of recently, she was arrested. They charged her with many counts of fraud. They also charged her with practicing healthcare without a license. And they also gave her a $70,000 bond. Just imagine how many patients she's cared for and how many medications she's actually passed in that 2-year period.
Whew. This is so much. This is so much to deal with. And it's just so crazy because facilities will do everything but put a good system in place. They will send you as a nurse all these continuing education modules and things, compliance documents and things that you have to, just flood your whole inbox with all these type of things that you need to do to cover their butt, but never to really like make sure people are compliant and educated and like equipped to do the job that they are hired to do. It is insane to me how you guys were able to let the first incident slide with her not being able to provide her marriage license, but then just like let her climb through the ranks. They were about to give her a promotion. She was about to become the charge nurse. And my thing is, all these things, okay, all these states want to get your money when it comes to becoming licensed in that state. Even if you're in a multi-compact state license, you have to pay money every other year to keep that license. Why are these licensing agencies not requiring money from organizations, from hospitals? They should be in cahoots with organizations like Nurses, which verifies license easy. I mean, as a travel nurse, I don't 100% know the process that hospitals go through for their staff, but as a travel nurse, we're required to present that information through Nurses and all of that upon applying with the agency and with each job. So Nurses needs to be notifying these organizations. Like, they need to have some type of subscription with these hospitals to where they know when exactly stuff is expiring. I mean, it just has to be a better system. It has to be a better system. It has to be a better way. Or else, how is everybody being protected in this? What are we paying for when it comes to people who are actually legitimately licensed? Like, what are we paying for? Because if anybody can just come in and be a nurse, it's like, what are we doing? What are y'all doing as organizations? I hate to say it, but we're going to have to be doing biometric scanning and blood testing, saliva submitting to be licensed as anything these days, because what in the actual world is going on here?
So, breaking news, another nurse imposter has been caught in Florida working at Advent Health Palm Coast in the ER. They said she had contact with over 4,000 patients. How she got busted is really kind of funny. And, you know, the chief nursing officer should be held liable too. But this girl was hired there to work as an advanced nurse tech. She had been working there since 2023. But she just decided, you know, I'm going to tell them I passed nursing school. I just didn't pass my boards yet. They put her through a nurse residency program, the whole shebang. She actually stole the identity of a real nurse who she went to school with. Yeah, she took her identity and said, oh, you know, they shared the same first name but different last name. She said, oh, I got married. Now, how she got busted, they put her through the residency program, let her work as a nurse. How she got busted was they gave her a promotion.
Yeah.
As a charge nurse. And her coworker said, fuck that. She ain't even no real nurse. And they went to the CNO and said, listen, cut this nonsense out. This chick is not a nurse. They demanded that she give her info up. She couldn't do it. They fired her. And it took 7 months for them to arrest her. Let's take a look. Lord. In the back of the cop car, just chilling. This is Adriana. She's gonna do some time. What I want.
I'm pretty sure her name is Autumn, but this is a classic case of be sure the truth will find you out. What is done in the dark will come to the light, because child, she really thought she was getting over, and she really actually was for a while. But I don't even know what the situation with her colleagues and coworkers, how they got to the point where they were like, nah, we telling, like we looking and we telling. I don't know how that came about, but that's where I say the truth will find you out, because that is crazy.
What I want to know is, how are these people getting away with this without providing proof of what it is that they need to provide proof of, and just saying, hey, yeah, I graduated, I'm an education first nurse. They putting them through a residency. Hospitals wouldn't even let me go a day without CPR. If my CPR expired, a day later, you're off the schedule.
Seriously, I'm so serious. These workday learnings, e-learnings, and other certifications like ACLS, BLS, if you let that lapse, like she said, like a day, she's like being funny, but she's not being funny. It's for real. They will harass you. Talking about you need to do this and we're going to take you off the schedule if you don't do it. So how in the world, that's what I'm saying. People be focusing on the wrong things. People be looking at the wrong things and the wrong people. I'm telling you.
Takara, how are these nurses getting away with this, these frauds? How are you just waking up saying, okay, I'm going to work as a nurse today, and actually got promoted? The funny shit is she got promoted, and then that's when her coworker said, oh, hell no, charge nurse, she ain't even a real nurse. What are your thoughts? Let's talk about it.
That is so hilarious to me because, yeah, like, how did we get here? How did we get here? And I guarantee you there were people more qualified to be promoted as a charge nurse. And she came through. That's probably what it was. Don't need no hateration. They definitely used that hateration and got her up out of there because they said, nah. They said, you ain't finna climb up this ladder. You are not even legit. Like, get out of here. That is wild. I want to know what you guys think down below. Why does this keep happening? And how can organizations be held accountable and responsible for this and prevent it from happening in the future? Let me know your thoughts down below. It's so crazy to me how this young lady really plotted this whole thing out and thought that she could get away with it without going through the proper steps and going through the legitimate process of being a certified nurse. It makes me sad that these are the options that we take versus going through due process. Don't forget, you guys, disciplined decisions really do still make a difference. Y'all be safe out there. I'll see you guys in my next one.